My Friend Pedro is a side-scrolling 2.5D shooter with a mixture of parkour and platforming elements. It's a fun, boisterous game with fun set pieces and gameplay. Like other games, the gameplay of My Friend Pedro is easy to learn and pick up, yet hard to master. There are a variety of weapons to choose from, ranging from pistols with unlimited ammo to dual-wielded SMGs, shotguns, sniper rifles, and an assault rifle with a grenade launcher. The split fire mechanic makes the shooting unique. Using a dual-wielding weapon, you can split your fire, allowing you to shoot two targets simultaneously. Another layer of gameplay to consider is the slow down and dodge mechanic. You can slow down time to allow for precise shooting, and the dodge mechanic will enable you to avoid gunfire in exchange for more inaccurate fire. High-level gameplay often involves using the right gun for the situation, using split fire when necessary, and knowing when to slow down and when to dodge. It's a balancing act. You need to dodge bullets, but your bullets also need to hit the enemy. Knowing what gameplay mechanic helps reach higher scores at the end of the level. Your score is awarded at the end of each level, and you're given a grade ranging from C to S rank. You get a high score for completing the level faster, getting more kills, more complex kills, not dying, and getting your multiplier as high as possible. Every time you kill an enemy, your score multiplier increases by 1, and with enough inactivity, your multiplier resets to 0. The level design and the game encourages faster paced, riskier gameplay so you can get to the enemies quicker. The quicker you dispatch enemies, the higher your multiplier and final score will be. There is a direct correlation between the game's level of fun and how willing you are to run headfirst into the enemies. Using parkour, split fire, dodging, and slowing down to kill as many enemies as possible will be more fun than taking it slow and focusing on one enemy at a time. Concerning platforming, the game has platforming elements required to progress and defeat enemies. You can bounce off walls, use zip lines, turn on switches and platforms, and swing on metal cables. The idea is to use the platforming mechanics alongside the other mechanics stated earlier to progress through levels quickly, be harder to be shot at, and get into positions that make it easier to shoot at the enemy. Some sections of entire levels use all the platforming mechanics listed above, and some new ones, like temporarily disabling electric fields that damage you. The most challenging gameplay sections often involve snap decisions involving shooting someone in midair and shooting at an electric field before you touch the ground. Frequently, this game feels like an action puzzle hybrid, as you have to figure out the best position for yourself and what you need to do to get to it, such as swinging or shooting out a switch. You decide what you need to be blocked and what you want to be open and exposed. The action set pieces are fun. There's a motorcycle chase which works well in a 2D environment. You move and weave between enemy vehicles and gunfire. There's a free-falling section where you guide your character through debris and must shoot while dealing with minimal cover. You must destroy an aircraft that only receives damage from its engines, which are placed on the back. You have to use the bullet reflection bounce plates to damage the enemy. The boss also demands that your platforming and timing be perfect, as while you can dodge its gunfire, the episodes or periods of gunfire are longer than the periods you can avoid damage. You have to time jumps so the minigun spawns and fires at a different elevation to your elevation. However, the game's penultimate boss leaves a lot to be desired. Like you, the boss can dodge your fire, so you must time your shots when they're shooting you. The only problem is health. The boss has so much health that you're out of ammo and health yourself by the time you dwindle her down. The developers had a good idea, a boss where you effectively fight yourself. Just tone down the health. There is good enemy variety too. You start the game dealing with generic enemies with basic weapons like pistols, but the game quickly progresses into enemies with shotguns and SMGs. Some melee-only enemies can only damage you from close by. They can dwindle your health bar and have a lot of health themselves. At the end of the game, there are suited enemies that take a lot of damage to kill and are effectively My Friend Pedro's versions of the robots from Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. There are also non-human enemies to defeat, which require the game's platforming mechanics to overcome. There are these mind centers where once you touch their laser pointers, they chase you down like it's Black Friday. Unfortunately, they can be shot and exploded before they can get near you. In addition, as stated earlier, these blue electric devices damage you but can be temporarily disabled. However, there are electric yellow devices which can't be disabled, so you often have to mix precise platforming with shooting. The end levels of the game are the most creative as they require precise platforming and timing, shooting enemies, blue electric fields, and avoiding yellow electricity simultaneously. Overall, the game is a lot of fun. The penultimate boss fight is too frustrating, but the rest of the game is an absolute blast to play. The level design, platforming, and combat mechanics blend to make the game feel rewarding and satisfying. In addition, the grade and multiplier score system encourages and demands the player to play the game faster and makes him engage with all the game's mechanics. Having high scores at the end of the level tied to gameplay that would be riskier and running headfirst is the most entertaining way to play the game, so the developers made the right call on that front. This is Zach, not Zach, signing off. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe.